Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Rogue Tower, where we are absolutely doing our utmost to climb a pointlessly large hill called Mount Everest. And we're trying to do it by doing a Ballista-only run. Now, we actually got really good house spawns here. I'm not going to go full eco just yet, because the earlier you go full eco, like, honestly, you don't need to go full eco until around, like, 510. For now, mostly looking for, I want to get a few good early places to drop things. Now, banditry on round one, this is huge. Long-term return on investment, man, university, quality over quantity. These are all three things that we would happily take here. Man, quality is good, university is good. I think we have to take banditry because that's such a huge payoff over a long period of time. This is a +3 tower location. Let's make sure we're focusing on most health. And we want to one-shot the leaders if we can. Ballistas deal +1 shield damage. Now, quality over quantity, that's a good one. That's a pick. We don't need to get that just yet, though, because we're not going to be investing in towers, so crit doesn't do a huge amount to us right now. Enchanted bolts, however, does get us closer to poison damage, and picking up early poison damage basically secures your late game. So let's grab another +3 tower location. This will be targeted at most health as well. We'll expand, and we'll see. Okay, so you probably need to do twice as much damage as you're currently doing. So like 3 levels, we'll call it 4 levels, should roughly cover you, because like the basic tower does 110. This does, yeah, okay. Plus you're up a higher level. Poison bolts 1, incredible. We have secured the late game on round 4. These are +3 tower locations. Let's continue to target most health. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just so we do double damage and we can one-shot them. The poison damage should, in theory, carry over and make sure they die. We could actually go up to even more poison right now. Mana bank, completely critical if we're ever going to go for enchanted bolts or mana bolts. So we pretty much have to have a mana bank available to us here. We can take up another level 3. This time I will focus you on armor. And I want to do about double damage to armor compared to what it does right now. That's a great spot for a ballista. Let's make sure you're targeted for armor as well. Now, poison doesn't do a huge amount for us right now. But in the late game, it is the most important thing that we have access to. Is having access to poison is a game changer. So now it's around about level 5, and I'm feeling like poison bolts too. Ooh, heavy shafts. Now I want to get bleed. I want to get bleed, but heavy shafts would open up burn damage on our ballistas. So I will take the burn damage. It's important to just get access to the status effect. Getting it to 50% isn't important. Being able to apply the status effect just tempers enemy regeneration. So now we're going to go full eco mode, also known as full sicko mode. So for the next round or two, there won't be a whole lot of towers built on the front line except around this house. It's a good spot for towers. And there's a downside to the way that we're playing right now, in that all of our firepower is concentrated around an area that has exactly 0 ability, like opportunity to use that firepower. However, our ability to generate eco now is full on insane. Mana bolts is huge. Banditry 2 is like insane. To the point where I have to take it as much as I want mana bolts. Like mana bolts is incredible, as is broadhead. Broadhead will get us towards bleed. I need to take banditry. Banditry is just mandatory. We'll place you there. And I guess you'll target the fastest enemy you can. I'll give you a little bit of extra damage so you can secure those. I think we're doing okay. The addition of a few extra towers makes a difference. I am going to be happy that there will be a battery of towers here to make sure things don't get too crazy. Flaming, oh man, banditry 3 or flaming bolt? It's got to be banditry 3, I think. Again, like if we're going for an eco build where we try to, maximize our income, you take banditry when it's available, and you place ballistas around houses when you have that option available. So I kind of like, I don't know if I want to go for slowing bolts on my towers. It hasn't really been paying off for me. I actually don't think it's worth it. I think we're better off going for like slow based on poison application. That might be better. Honestly, I'm worried that we'll leak here. There's a low chance. I mean, it's not impossible. I think we'll be fine. The battery of late game towers should open up and take care of this. There we go. Perfect. University is definitely something we want to pick up around somewhere between the region of around 20 to 25. We also definitely want to pick it up before we start picking up our effect amplifiers. Mana bolts, really, really efficient boost right now. 25% burn would help us deal with armor quite significantly. It helps us a lot during the demon phase, but it doesn't help us much right now. But kind of again, 25% burn damage, like that's a 25% DPS increase for my towers. So like it's pretty efficient. Like per shot fired, you will do 25% more damage. Now, whether or not that gets applied, you know, the way you would kind of expect it to, is a different story entirely. Let's make sure all of our houses are fully protected. I know. We are riding so close to that line. In fact, we might actually be riding way too close to that line. To be totally honest with you, based on what we're seeing right now. But the status effects, you know, it's not bad. The lack of bleed, I think, is going to hurt me a little bit here. We're going full greed mode. Now, full greed mode has been activated, so as long as we survive, like the next round or two, that'll start paying off, because it's getting to the point now where it's like several hundred gold a round, which is like a tower. And a tower, you know, it does work for us. It's gonna be tight though. This is gonna be very, very tight as to whether or not we actually survive this. I think we will survive. We might take tower damage though. Ooh, just barely. 5% slow could be helpful. I think I'm going to take the extra poison damage though. No, I'm going to take quality over quantity. So now I have the crit chance activation. I think I will start adding towers in kind of randomish places, targeting most armor, giving him as many upgrades as I can so that he's doing like efficient anti-armor things. He might not always hit, but he's attempting. So now I think we fill out a lot of towers here in this section to try and deal with a lot of this. Particularly armor is going to be a big deal for us to deal with. I probably should have taken slow on mana bolts. It would have made a difference actually. Ooh, spooky. Spooky what's happening here. They're making it quite far. We should be okay. We should be okay. The crit chance isn't doing much for me right now. It will do progressively more and more for me as the game goes on. So it's probably a little bit of a mistake to pick it up this early, to be honest with you. I don't know what to tell you, but I absolutely just need to take up broadhead bolts. As much as I want mana siphon and universities, broadhead bolts right now gives me extra health damage. And gives me the opportunity to build up to a powerful finisher. Oh my god, man, more eco? Can such a man be allowed to be this disgusting and go for more eco? I absolutely can. I will go for more eco. I'm that person. I will take more eco if I can. So we're shredding through armor quite effectively now, which I'm happy about. The burn damage helps with that. It's health that we're having trouble to deal with. But, you know, health is one of the easiest ones to deal with long term. So if we can get over a short-term problem with health damage, we'll be fine. We'll be fine long term. I think the big thing now for me is to try and get these packs of enemies to stagger a bit, so we have more time to, like, all of our towers can shoot at different targets. Because right now our enemies are overlapping a lot, which means we're not getting a lot of, like, efficient damage in terms of the total amount of time our towers are shooting at people is quite low. Man, I want mana bolts. Mana bolts would get me out of a hole here. But it would mean I would have to. I think mana bolts 1 is okay, but I think let's take mana bolts. It scales really nicely with crit because it makes up for the lower base damage of going for crit. And I think I'm also. Can I fit a tower in there? Come on, let me just cheekily put a tower in there. Okay, I guess this is a 2 tower house, but that's fine. Most armor. Let's make sure you're quite leveled. 7 seems like a good level to get to. Now, the important thing is you have to go for banditry if you're going for a ballista build, because normally the amount of gold you get from an enemy is dictated partially by how many individual different types of towers hit it. So if you have one type of tower, you know, you're significantly reducing the total amount of income you can make in an entire game, which is not good, right? So we have to be a little bit careful about how we manage things. But you can see here, by extending this road, we've spaced out our enemies, which means more of our towers are firing for a larger percentage of the time. Range kind of does the same thing actually here. If we could pick up a range upgrade, it would mean our towers were shooting for, you know, they cover a larger percentage of the path, they shoot for a larger percentage of the game. I don't know if slow here, I mean, slow, it often feels like slow is a double-edged sword, but now that we have poison and burn, we have the poison damage, so we don't need enchanted bolts. We have the burn, so we could go for kill him with fire. Let's go for kill him with fire. Let's try to like amplify kind of some of the stuff we're doing here. Let's get this tower to target most health. And I will do so at level 7 as well. Level 7 feels about right to me right now. You know, if you do the maths on it, like if you add like 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7, it roughly adds up to about 300 gold, which is about where we're at right now. You could probably make the argument to go into level 9 on these towers, which, you know, that way you're spending roughly as much on the tower as you are on upgrades for the tower, which I think is like a roughly like efficient place to be. It feels intuitively efficient. I don't know. I could be completely off base with this assumption, but that feels like somewhat in the right place of where you want to be. Let's go ahead and continue to target most health. We'll get 7 levels on you. Oh, bolt flying off into the sky. And it's really important to get your base damages high because the status effects you inflict is based on your base damages, right? So if you get your base damage numbers in the right place, you will actually start to do some serious work. And you can see here, even like they're barely making it past now this new battery of highly leveled towers. I'm feeling good about this game. Like we've gotten all the right things in place for an early start. The only thing I'm missing is bleed. That's the only thing that I feel like I don't have in my build yet. And there it is, plus 25% bleed. Okay, we are activated. We have all 3 status effects on our things. So now regeneration is no longer an issue. We don't have to worry about enemy units regenerating. I'll get this Ballista to target most health. I'll give it a few levels and we'll expand. So I'm expecting Uji soon. Oogie. Now the one downside that we will have with dealing with Oogie this game is we don't have slow bolts. I've kind of trying out, can you do this without going for the slow, and instead look to pick up the slow on the poison damage later. It's a little bit more or less reliable, but maybe it's better is the thing. Maybe it's better. Who knows? Like we actually just don't have the data on this. I haven't done enough rounds to figure out what the efficient way is. I wish I could put another thing beside that house there. But we're looking good. We're looking good. We've got this well contained. Absolutely, they're no longer getting to our tower. We're starting to curve into our peak efficiency. Plus 2 damage to shields is quite good. We have a little bit of mana usage. I'll take the plus 2 damage to shields, even though it's not what I want at all here. I'll just take it. Now there's Oogie. That's a bad Oogie spawn for us. I'm going to be real with you. Go ahead and target near death. Now the one saving grace that I might have for my Oogie is I can apply a lot of status effects to him pretty early here with my anti-health tower. So he should slowly burn down like pretty quickly. I say slowly burn down. Like he should burn, like he's taking a lot of damage over time right now. And we're constantly applying more dots. So he's about halfway done. I'm feeling like we'll need another tower or two. Just to clean up these little dudes. The little dudes are eating so many arrows on me. But once they're done, Oogie is no more. He has no chance of survival. Oh, mana. So we'll just do this. We'll lay down a stack of mana here. Perfect. We have a couple of chests here. Plus 3 damage to shields. That's actually just a really good advantage here. But 25% more burn is also huge. Open chest. Plus 1 range or 25% poison. I'm going to take the poison. That's a 25% DPS increase. Plus 1 range or 3 damage to shields. I'm going to take the plus 1 range. Like, that's just big. Plus 1 range. More coverage on your towers. Technically more DPS. More total active time. They spend more time shooting. Just overall, total advantage. This is bad. This means people are grouping. Not good. Go ahead and get you to target most armor. We're up to about 400, so level 8 feels about right for my towers right now. Let's go through and make sure that most of my guys are level 8. You know, I think it's pretty important to stay on top of your upgrades. It's like occasionally go through and grab a few upgrades on whatever you're doing. So my status effect application is really, really good. It means we're going to have a much easier time dealing with these zombies because the poison damage is going to tick through. They're very, very slow, which gives us a lot of time for the poison damage to actually deal with them. I will need like a tower or two focused on shields, but the status effect should carry us here pretty significantly. The lack of a slow hurts, but I'm kind of hoping that doesn't bite me. Let's add a anti-shield tower here. That was armor. Maximum bleed. Burning enemies burn faster based on how much slows they have. Let's do enchanted bolts, plus 3 damage to shields across all my ballistas. Will just make my life easier here for the next few minutes and into the late game. Anti-armor. It might seem like kind of weird to have like, but like spacing out towers kind of feels like intuitively good to me. I don't know why. Early game it feels good to have them spaced out, and then you want to clump them together later when you start dealing with like slows and mass effects. But we're looking okay. Enemies are kind of making their way through. I don't think they're going to get there though. Again, we don't have a good way to deal with shields, but we don't need to when we have plus 3 levels to shield damage, or plus 7 total thanks to like passive buffs. Slow Cooker gives us extra burn damage based on how much slower enemies have. Could be really useful. 5% slow as well. Slow Cooker is really good if you get the poison effect that slows based on poison applied. I need to like densify, like increase the density of towers here. So let's start targeting most shield. I think shields are going to be the thing we have to deal with the most. So having some towers like dedicated to anti-shield work just sprinkled along just helps. Like, right, like we're chipping away at this guy here. He's getting chipped. Then the fast units will run through and they'll get picked apart. Like, it's fine. Probably need a little bit of anti-shield over here. So we're just trying to look, we're trying to like let people disperse, like without using slows, throughout the whole map, so we have a maximum number of towers firing at once. I probably went overkill on the mana banks, but you know, it's neither here nor there. I wouldn't mind going for some death taxes maybe. There's a good ballista here. I reckon this could be a good anti-shield. Most shield. And the reason I target most shield is because I'm trying to bring their shield level down. 10% crit or mana bolts 2. I think mana bolts 3 is as comfortable as I feel going for, but 10% crit, that's really, really good scaling. And it also scales off of some potential upgrades as well later on. So I'm going to take that 10% crit. It's basically a 10% damage increase. Like, that's the way to think about it. And absolutely nobody would turn down a 10% damage increase. So we've got anti-shield going on over here. About level 8 feels about right to me intuitively. And here's the thing, even anti-shield towers still shoot at things that don't have shields eventually. Like, they just focusing on getting the shields down, which are going to be the thing that we're having the most trouble with in the eventual future, you know what I mean? If other things make it through, who cares? Okay, perfect. It feels like this distribution of towers is kind of doing really good work for me right now. +1 range feels good, as does +2 damage to health. So anything that like scales across all of my towers is big. And +2 damage to health across all my towers is huge. But +1 range gives my towers a lot more opportunities to not only shoot, but also pick their targets efficiently. And that makes like areas like this like pretty damn good. Let's expand here. I want you to target most armor, I guess. Still probably not an ideal upgrade. So we're getting a little bit too much monster density over here, I think. So I want to expand out this a little bit. This seems fine as it is. The problem is I was kind of fishing for another... Here's the thing. I'm fishing for a split in the road over here so I can distribute more people on this side of the map. And I think that's what I'm going to continue to do. I'm going to fish for a split in the road. Because if I get another split in the road down here, this is way too many mobs coming through too dense of an area. I need like a triple split over here on the left side. I mean, we're dealing with it okay, but not perfectly. 25% more bleed, 2 more damage to armor. I think I'll take the bleed. Applying more is good. Okay, there's a loop. It's not what I'm looking for. It's really not what I'm looking for. God damn. Target most health. No, target most shield, I think. I think you want to have like things that target shield, like as far into your maze as possible. And then like the further people get in your maze, you should start targeting armor and then health. Because ideally you should be stripping off shields before they get to your main like anti-armor and anti-health area, which is like over here. This is like anti-armor. This is like anti-armor, and then anything beyond that is anti-shield. It's kind of how I'm thinking about my maze design. Is that after my first choke point is like anti-health. At my first choke point is anti-armor, and then anything beyond that is just focus on shield, like bringing down those shields and applying effects. We're sitting on 6k gold, and we're not leaking in the slightest, which means we're in an amazing position. Mana bolts too, really nice. I'm going to go for max longbow. Again, range, Just gives you lots of value. God damn it. I cannot get the split in the road. It just won't happen for me. It's okay. It's just annoying. Because it's not working the way it should. Like, come on, dude. Give me a break here. All right, so we got some fast ghosty boys. Now, the lack of slow is going to start to be a problem against vampires and things like that. So we probably want to start adding like a couple of extra towers here, targeting the fastest. And ideally having like really good health damage so we can finish those guys off. Because remember, things that get here should have, like again, like things that get through this choke point should have no armor and no shield. By the time they get to over here, this is the health area. I guarantee you, I'm going to click here or something, and it's instantaneously going to split the road or give me a portal or something awful. Like, it's going to be bad. +2 damage to armor. I think we go for max bleed. Yeah, we take the bleed increase. Oh my sweet Christ, it still hasn't split. So I think, you know, we're looking okay still. Vampires are a problem for sure. We're probably going to want another tower here, targeting most health. Add more and more towers here, targeting progress. Ideally with lots of health damage. Another tower here. Lots of health damage, aiming at progress. We mostly got it under control. It's just like annoying. Again, still can't get what I want. I'm going to click here and it's instantly going to split the path and put even more units on this path. I 100% guarantee you it. This is automatically a portal, so I'm totally screwed no matter what I do here. This is going to be so much noise coming through this choke point here that it's going to be really, really difficult to deal with this entire game. I got screwed on pathing. Attacks against bleeding enemies have a 5% crit chance. It's pretty good. I think I can... Honestly, I feel like slow has been... I've been fine without slow. Okay, I've been fine without slow. I have not needed slow. Most shield. Let's continue to add more anti-shield guys. And I guess I'll add another anti-armor guy here. Because I really, like, the slow, it actually seems, like, incredible. But I think the problem with the slow on the Ballista tower is I think it might actually cause like an accordion effect where all of the enemies group up and then you can't pick anyone off. And then you've got like super inefficient tower firing because only one very small section of your map is firing at once. Whereas if you let the enemies walk their natural speed, the fast enemies run ahead and get chewed apart. And enemies' just natural difference in speed means they're distributed across the map to where you just have more towers firing. More towers firing is just more efficient. And you don't have to deal with this like bunching effect where a bunch of enemies all group together and like protect each other from consequences. Broadhead bolts feels quite good here. It's +2 damage, +2 health damage across my entire thing. I need to start looking for universities. I need universities now. Not having them sucks. Here, just make our portal. There's zombie Uji did spawn at least on a favorable path, kind of. Let's make sure you're targeting most shield. So slowly chip away at zombie Oogie. But you can see what I'm talking about in terms of like the total number of towers firing at an enemy. By letting the enemies distribute along the paths how they will, more of my towers are just firing. It means I'm generating more experience. I'm building. And I think the range helps too, because it lets by having them, like, again, anti-shield towers towards the front of the line, they're able to efficiently pick their targets, and then by the time they get over to here, all they've got left is health, and they get shredded. I'm feeling pretty good about this run. This run, I think, has the potential, as long as I'm never forced to take mana, to take frost bolts, I think we're fine. It's all coming down to RNG here. Really. Which is obviously not like an ideal thing when you're trying to do a very particular type of run. You don't want it to come down to RNG. But I never want to take another type of tower. So I would take frost bolts even if it would torpedo my run. Because I just want to I want to have only ballistas ever unlocked. Increasing the maximum bleed has some benefits, also has some downsides. Heavy shafts gives us good armor bonuses. I think you could make an argument that going to level 2 mana bolts is okay. You have to be careful about your mana consumption. We're at a good mana consumption level. I could sustain mana bolts too, I think. But I'm going to go ahead for heavy shafts here. +2 damage to armor across all these guys is really good. I'll go for the haunted house. And I will take the mine. So maybe we can get like a little bit of gold generation going here with these like haunted houses. Death tax due, nearby graves, 2x. I think at least 2x's is like a good number. Like we got a few 2x's over here. So this is like prime Ballista real estate. as is right here. Let's expand this. Make sure you're targeting most shield. Your work will be appreciated, most shield. Because I haven't even spent all my money and I'm doing relatively okay. Now we need to start thinking about like just raw firepower. Like how much damage can we cram into a tower? That's most armor. Because this is where we're going to start dealing with people with a lot of health. Okay, but we mostly like we should deal with that over here. Where like the anti-health damage goes. You know what I'm saying? So like maybe a couple of extra towers is fine. We'll target near death with you. We will target near death with you. This again, remember we want like distributed targeting. We want efficiently hitting all different stuff. Gold Rush, enemies gain movement speed. Ballistas, Mana Bolts 2. I think it's time for universities. It's too critical a time of the game to not go for universities. So I'm curious, is there a difference between the gold generation between these different buildings? Or like is it just always they pay out a certain amount? Like how many haunted houses should I go for versus how many mana banks? Like let's build one haunted house per round. We'll just throw down a couple. We'll see how much gold generation it actually ends up being. There's our first university location. Boom, boom, boom. So 6% health studies, 6% armor, and 6% shield. I'm not fully decided about whether or not it's good to like try to go for, you know, 1 point in each or 2 points in each or try to max out one. So how are we doing? Are they making it through here with shields? They are not. So we probably just need like a little bit more health damage to distribute this. They seem to be doing fine. A little bit progress focused is my one thing. I wish there was kind of like just pick an enemy randomly in your targeting zone or like distribute firepower. It's kind of hard to get that fire distribution organically without like doing some weird stuff. Let's add maybe 2 more mana banks. Seems about right with our current mana consumption. Yeah, I'm loving this really, really long path over here. Means these guys just take so long. I need these paths to diverge like big time. This is a nice divergence in a sense. Plus 3% to all research is basically like a game breaker. You kind of have to take it, I feel. Most shield. So I'm not sold on whether or not skipping target fastest. Well, actually, this is a bad tower location. We want to maximize like curves in the road where we can target like the fastest units and like target near death and target, you know, most health and stuff like that. But I'm feeling pretty good about this. They're getting over here and there's enough damage to like bring down most things that get to there. I probably need a little bit more forward damage. Most armor, 5% crit chance across all of my towers, plus 3 damage to health. Actually feels like it would be really useful right now. Plus 3 damage to health. A lot of the enemies coming now have a lot of health. We want to focus our fire around particular choke points that most people go through. Let's target you for most armor. And you'll be targeted for most health. But now we're getting to the point where our income is sort of mismatched with our expenditures. Which means the game is getting hard. And we don't have slow. We still don't have slow. We don't have status effects. God. I think though the whole like distributed fire thing is kind of working. It feels like it's working to me. These guys are way off on their own thing. I need to get these to diverge big time. It's just they're coming in a big clump, which is not ideal. Like the spacing is almost right. I think these just need to diverge a little bit away from this thing. That's all it is I need to get my my stat line, my maze lines to diverge. I think we're okay here. Yeah, we're fine. We're fine. We have so much damage in this area that focuses on health that like it's pretty much impossible to like make it through. But the one thing I have to be careful about is the further out my towers are, the less efficient the tower is, because the less total percentage of the enemy pool will walk past that tower. But it doesn't mean I can neglect putting towers out there. Plus 3 damage to armor is so good. I'm going to take the 5% crit. It's like, again, a 5% damage increase across my entire tower, like set of towers. Huge. Target some more most armor. Just constantly adding towers to this choke point. Which could be a mistake. Like, realistically, I could be messing up. Okay, things with armor are getting through, which is really not good. Popping in a few towers that are highly targeted against the armor. Just like if any armor makes it through, they will be targeted down. Let's make sure we get another anti-armor tower over here. We don't want to deal with armor. Probably a good idea to get another anti-armor tower here. Bleeding enemies take a +1 health damage from all effects. That's actually really good scaling. Extra bleed damage is not what we're looking for. We want Trail of Blood, I think. Yes, perfect. University spots. We do have some new ones. Boom. Let's do 2 of each click. Get it up to 5%, I think. So now I'm feeling a little bit better about this spacing. Like, these mobs are only arriving at this choke point like quite a bit after this. So then like the total length of like the enemy train is like a little bit longer, which means slightly more efficient usage of my tower abilities now. Okay. I really, man, the music in this game is so, it goes so hard. It's so good. Really incredible. Super stuff. Mate, we are smashing it. We are smashing it. It's being destroyed. It's incredible. How much better this is working out than some of my other runs. How are these haunted houses working out? Like, I'm really curious. Like, is this good? Should I do this? I don't know what death tax is. Haunted houses will use mana twice as efficiently. Or ballistas deal 3 damage to armor or 5% slow. I'm going to take the 3 armor. Armor damage is good. We're also maxed out now on all our plus damages passives. A ballista tower here, targeting most shields, maybe. We are starting to now get a trickle of university research, which I'm very happy about. So I figure, you know, if you go up to 5%, which is 2 clicks on each of these, plus a 3%, that's like a 1 in 20 chance that you get +1 damage across your entire tower range. That seems like a pretty good gamble. It's like rolling a d20. Like, that happens often enough. You hit a 20 on a d20. Like, that happens often enough. And if I get to roll like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dice, I'm going to be hitting 20s pretty often. Remember, that scales across my entire range of towers. So it's pretty big. Yeah, armor is getting through quite a bit here. It does get thinned out as it comes through this choke point. There's still a little bit too much armor for my liking. Just getting through to the end here. Not ideal. The big thing I want to be looking for are any of these guys with armor recovering their health. Because I don't care if like they have a lot of armor. Like, as long as they're constantly burning down, it's when enemies reach a point where they can actually start to restore some health that can cause you some real issues. And these rockets. The rockets are scary because they do +6 damage, right? So each rocket is 7. So 3 rockets get through, we're dead. Like, it's game over. Just be careful. Or is it 5 rockets? I can't remember exactly how the damage works out. So more burn damage. I'm already at my mana limit. However, 3 base damage is huge. It's like 3 levels across my entire range of units. I'm going to take +1 mana bolts. I'm not happy about it because it means I have to spend so many mana banks. But I don't think I can go above this now. 5 mana a shot, I think, is about where I feel like I can sustain. But I basically have to build all of these mana banks now. Another university. Let's go. Come on. There we go. Okay, we have room for more universities. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. Another university here soon. We've already got +3 shield damage, which is, if we can get through to round 35, will be a difference maker, especially with that poison damage. Are we actually doing anything efficient here? That crit chance, 25%. 25%, 20%, 27%. The rockets are annoying, but I think the rockets can be dealt with. Oh, spicy! No, 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 no! This cannot be. Okay, it was just a 1 round kind of temporary issue we were having there. So, you know, it's fine. Can I get like a real upgrade here? Where? Oh, mana bolts 3. I can't do mana. I can't afford. Mana bolts 3 is too many. I have to take a dead card here, which is fortification 1. Oh, God, I hate that. Let's place our universities. Click, 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 click. Click, 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 click. So we're rolling a lot of d20s now. So the probability that we get an upgrade is quite high. It's not like super guaranteed or anything like that, but the probability is high. So I've spent all my money. I'm just hoping for good rolls here on my d20s to come to fruition. Will that come to pass? It's hard to know. It's hard to know. I mean, I think things are looking relatively okay for me here. The real thing that I'm going to run into is the positioning of Robo Oogie is if he spawns over here on the left, incredible. If he spawns here, really bad. If he spawns here or here, I can deal with it. There's 4 locations he can spawn. And one of them is really, really bad. We shall see. We shall see. I think I'm going to have to be like quick on the button with the placement of my anti-Oogie towers. 5% crit chance across all towers. It's a 5% DPS increase. Let's do it. Okay, Oogie spawned in like, you know, tier 1 potential location. So we can slowly chip away at Oogie. Most health, most armor, most shield. So Oogie will be chipped away. He'll build up a huge stack of these modifiers. Most armor. How are we doing here? Still a lot of people making it through with armor on this front. Target most armor. So now that we're up to like 900 gold a tower, I think if I start doing the maths right, it's like 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9 plus 10 plus 11 plus 12 plus 13. So like level 13 is about where I want my towers to be. Like for... Ooh, mana. I think the mana running dry is the killer here. That extra level of mana bolt maybe killed me. I don't think I have the DPS. Ugh. I really don't think this death tax paid off. It comes so late that there's no way that this pays off. Death tax due 10, 14. Like this does not... I don't know. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing the benefit of the death tax. House protection and banditry though are both incredible. Damn, that's devastating. I think you have to go for the slow on the ballistas. I think the slow is necessary. It gives you... It causes bunching, but it gives you so much DPS. I feel like I'm a step closer to figuring out the true build. Like I've learned how to gauge my early game choices to target, like getting the status effects. I also need to get that slow. I think we're very, very close to figuring this ballista only challenge out.